I never imagined I'd become the guy people whispered about. At 28, I had what I thought was a solid life. I had a stable job in IT, a girlfriend I'd been dating for almost 3 years, and a best friend who had been like a brother since high school. If someone had asked me who I trusted the most, I would have answered without hesitation. My girlfriend, Emily. My best friend, Ryan. Turns out those were the two people I should have trusted the least. It all started with tiny things that didn't seem important. Emily suddenly became protective of her phone. She used to leave it on the kitchen counter while she showered. Now she carried it everywhere, even to grab a glass of water. Whenever a notification popped up, she'd flip the screen over before I could accidentally see it. I noticed it, but I convinced myself I was overthinking. Everyone deserves privacy. Then Ryan started acting strange too. We used to play basketball every Saturday morning. Suddenly, he always had excuses. Working overtime, family stuff, not feeling great. Oddly enough, every time Ryan canceled, Emily somehow also became busy. I never connected the dots. One Friday evening, Emily told me she was spending the night with her sister because they planned a girls' movie marathon. "Don't wait up," she said with a smile before kissing my forehead. Around 10 that night, I ordered pizza and started watching football. Halfway through the game, Ryan texted me. "Ryan, bro, sorry I missed your call earlier." I frowned. I hadn't called him. Before I could reply, another message appeared. "Ryan, ignore that." A second later, both messages disappeared. He had unsent them. Weird. I shrugged it off. The next morning, Ryan acted completely normal in our group chat. Almost too normal. Weeks passed, and the strange moments kept piling up. Emily suddenly became interested in going to the gym. Ryan had joined a new gym around the same time. Emily claimed she loves sushi now. Ryan had always been obsessed with sushi. She started using phrases Ryan always said. Little things. Harmless things. Except they weren't harmless anymore. One afternoon, I stopped by Ryan's apartment unannounced because I wanted to borrow his pressure washer. His car wasn't there. I called him. "I'm visiting my parents," he answered immediately. "Cool," I said. "I'll come tomorrow." "No, I mean, they're sick." His voice sounded rushed. That evening, Emily texted me saying she'd be working late. Again. I didn't think much of it. Until my coworker, Lisa, casually mentioned something during lunch the following week. "Weren't you guys at Harbor Grill Friday?" I looked confused. "What do you mean? You and Emily?" "I wasn't there." Lisa blinked. "Oh." She hesitated. I must have seen someone who looked exactly like her. My stomach tightened. Who was she with? "I don't know." She shrugged. "Some tall guy. Ryan is 6'3". I laughed it off in front of Lisa. Inside, something cracked. That night, I asked Emily directly, "Were you at Harbor Grill last Friday?" She answered without looking up from her phone. "No." "So you were at work?" "Yeah, all evening." She looked annoyed. "Why are you interrogating me?" I apologized immediately. She rolled her eyes and walked away. The conversation should have ended there. Instead, it stayed in my head for days. I finally decided to check something I had never paid attention to before. Our shared credit card. Emily occasionally used it for groceries when she forgot her own wallet. Scrolling through the statement, I found a charge. Harbor Grill. Friday, 7:42 p.m. Exactly when she claimed to be working. I felt my heartbeat pounding in my ears. Maybe she'd gone there with coworkers. Maybe there was an explanation. I wanted to believe that. I really did. The next Saturday, Ryan invited me over to watch a UFC fight. When I arrived, he was unusually nervous. His apartment looked cleaner than usual. Almost staged. Halfway through the fight, Ryan went to the bathroom. His phone buzzed on the coffee table. Normally, I would have ignored it. Instead, my eyes drifted toward the screen. The notification only showed a preview. Emily Redhart. My chest tightened. The message read, "He still doesn't know," face with tears of joy. Before I could process what I was reading, Ryan rushed back into the room. He grabbed his phone so quickly it was obvious he'd seen my expression. "What?" I asked calmly. "What was that message?" He looked down. "Oh." Wrong Emily. Wrong Emily. There are millions of people named Emily, but only one of them used a heart emoji next to her name. I forced a smile. Yeah. Inside, I felt sick. That night, I barely slept. Every memory from the last 6 months replayed in my head. The canceled plans, the late nights, the lies, the matching schedules, the secret of phones. Everything suddenly fit together like pieces of a puzzle I'd been too blind to solve. Still, I needed proof. Real proof. Because accusing the two people closest to me without evidence would destroy everything. And if I was wrong, I'd lose both of them forever. So I decided to do something I'd never imagined I'd have to do. I started paying attention. Every lie, every excuse, every coincidence. And what I uncovered over the next 2 weeks completely destroyed the life I thought I had. The next Monday, I left for work at my usual time. At least, that's what Emily thought. Instead, I parked my car a few streets away and waited. About 20 minutes later, Ryan's black SUV pulled into our neighborhood. My heart started racing. He didn't even park in front of the house. He stopped around the corner, as if he didn't want anyone to notice. A minute later, Emily walked out of our front door wearing sunglasses and carrying a small overnight bag. She looked around before getting into Ryan's passenger seat. Then they drove away together. I sat there frozen. There it was. Not a suspicion. Not a coincidence. Reality. Still, a small part of me desperately searched for an innocent explanation. Maybe they were planning a surprise birthday party. Maybe they were working on something together. I hated how badly I wanted to believe a lie. I followed them from a distance. They didn't head toward my office. They didn't head toward Ryan's parent house. They drove straight to a boutique hotel across town. My stomach dropped. I watched them walk into the lobby together. Ryan placed his hand on Emily's lower back. She smiled. Then she leaned over and kissed him. It wasn't a friendly kiss. It was the kind of kiss we'd shared hundreds of times. I couldn't breathe. 3 years together. 15 years of friendship. Destroyed in less than 5 seconds. I drove away before they could see me. I spent the next few hours sitting alone in a park, staring at the steering wheel. I wasn't crying. I wasn't angry. I just felt empty. Eventually, the shock wore off, and my brain switched into problem-solving mode. If they had lied this long, they'd probably lie their way out of being caught. So I decided to collect everything. I took screenshots of the shared credit card charges. I saved the hotel reservation confirmation that appeared later in our joint banking transactions. Over the next few days, I quietly packed my important documents, laptop, passport, and valuables and moved them to my brother's house. I also contacted the landlord. Since the lease was in both our names, I explained that I intended to move out and asked about the process. Then I waited. The opportunity came the following weekend. Ryan hosted what he called a guy's barbecue. Most of our close friends were there. Emily also showed up later, saying she'd just been shopping. Neither of them knew I had already seen everything. Dinner went exactly as expected. Ryan joked. Emily laughed. They avoided making eye contact with each other a little too carefully. The performance was almost convincing. When everyone finished eating, Ryan stood up to grab more drinks. That's when I spoke. Before anyone leaves, I said, I'd like to thank Ryan. Everyone looked at me. Ryan smiled nervously. For what? I pulled out my phone. For showing me what real friendship looks like. The smile disappeared from his face. I connected my phone to his TV using screen sharing. The first image appeared. The hotel entrance. Ryan and Emily walking inside together. The room went silent. Next came the restaurant charge. Then the hotel payment. Then the time-stamped photo I'd taken of them kissing outside the lobby. Nobody said a word. Ryan looked like he'd seen a ghost. Emily went completely pale. Finally, I played the screenshot of Ryan's phone notification. Emily Redhart. He still doesn't know face with tears of joy. One of our friends whispered, You gotta be kidding me. Ryan immediately stood up. Bro, I can explain. I laughed. For once in your life, don't lie. Emily started crying. It wasn't supposed to happen. I looked at her. Interesting. You seem pretty happy walking into that hotel. She tried grabbing my arm. I stepped back. Ryan started blaming everything on mixed feelings and confusion. Then Emily blamed our relationship. Apparently, I'd been emotionally distant. Funny. She never mentioned that before she started dating my best friend. One by one, everyone at the barbecue got up and left. Not a single person defended them. One friend stopped beside me before leaving. "You deserve better." Those 4 words meant more than he probably realized. That night, I drove to my brother's house. Emily called 23 times. Ryan called 9. I answered neither. Over the next week, I blocked both of them on everything. Social media, phone, email, even gaming accounts. Mutual friends filled me in anyway. Ryan lost almost every friendship in our group. People simply stopped inviting him. Emily tried telling everyone we'd already grown apart. Unfortunately for her, screenshots don't forget. A month later, I heard they'd officially started dating. 3 months after that, they broke up. Apparently, once two cheaters no longer had someone else to sneak around behind, the excitement disappeared. Neither of them got the happy ending they expected. As for me, it took time. I started therapy. I joined a local hiking group. I reconnected with friends I neglected during my relationship. Slowly, life began to feel normal again. About a year later, I met someone completely unexpected. She didn't make grand promises. She didn't play games. She simply showed up, communicated honestly, and earned my trust one day at a time. Looking back, I realized something important. Ryan didn't steal my girlfriend. He revealed the kind of person she already was. And Emily didn't ruin my future. She removed herself from it before I built a life with someone who never truly respected me. Losing both of them hurt more than I can describe. But keeping them in my life would have hurt far longer. Sometimes betrayal isn't the end of your story. It's the painful beginning of a much better one.